Good evening from Sweden, and welcome to today's topic, which is about setting boundaries in a loving way. So, setting boundaries in a loving way is extremely important when it comes to our own personal spiritual journey, simply because if we set boundaries, so called boundaries, in a way that is not in alignment with our spirit, means love, then we lose ourselves in the attempt of perceiving, do you say perceiving, to preserve, in our way, or in our attempt to preserve our own integrity by setting boundaries. So it is important to understand that it is not a matter of that it is not okay to set boundaries, but it is how we do it. So there is nothing unloving in a boundary. A boundary, I think, is something that must be set many times. Sometimes we simply need to show a boundary in action also, but that doesn't mean that we have to be aggressive. It can simply just mean that we stand up and walk away, because an action in that way, by making such a clear um, uh, say, such a clear way of communicating is sometimes the best way of communicating, simply because that if you are just babbling, then you will not be heard anyway. So it is very important when it comes to setting boundaries that we don't forget to use our intuition in those circumstances. It is not, when it comes in spirituality, it is not about only using it in certain areas. It is about involving the spirit in all areas. And the spirit always knows where to go, and it can be hard sometimes to see and know the difference between what is what, um, but the thing is that we learn, and it has to be okay to not do everything perfect all the time. And yeah, setting boundaries in a loving way, it just means also, like, how would love communicate in this situation, both towards yourself and your own integrity, and towards the other person? What would be the most loving thing to do? And the most loving thing, don't confuse that with saying yes to everything. That is not the most loving thing always. Sometimes it is to say yes, sometimes it simply is to say no, but it is how we do it. That is the whole thing. And I would say that it is definitely possible to be heard uh, without shouting and yelling. And I would say that that is actually often the only way to be heard also, because otherwise people will simply just do this, like have an invisible wall, because they need to protect themselves, just as we feel if we are getting attacked or feel attacked. So it is about keeping our own self-integrity and doing what is right, because we want to keep respect for ourselves. It actually has nothing to do with the other person when it comes down to the core, but it has all to do with how we ourselves handle things within ourselves. That we don't lose ourselves because of another person's action. That we don't lose ourselves and let our day be messed up, and that we let ourselves get upset because of another person. Um, so that is what the whole game is about, as I see it. It is everything, I would say, is about having integrity towards oneself, and to be honest towards oneself as much as we can. Doesn't mean that we're perfect, but as much as we can, that we stay to our truth. And if we just know with ourselves that that is what we strive for, then no matter if we mess up at times, then we will still respect ourselves because we know our own intention. And yeah, that is what matters. So when you get triggered and you feel that you don't even want to set boundaries in a loving way, but maybe in a harsh way, then it is all about also working with what's coming up inside of you. What is it that is triggered? Why are you so angry? What is it that gets disturbed in you? And grow from it. See what is it, what is it inside of me that needs healing in this situation. Not that you shouldn't set boundaries in the outer or all of that, but I'm talking about the emotions that you carry and feelings that you carry with you after the so-called situation, whatever it may be, you know? So, yeah, that was what I was thinking about today. I love you and I wish you a beautiful evening.